Welcome to the Simply Incredible podcast. I am Daryl, a.k.a. The D, and with me is Troy Champney.
Hallelujah!
And JPZ Inc.
Good evening.
Man, JPZ.
This chair is better for intros.
That's what it is.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a good intro chair.
What up, brother?
I'm going to have to get a new chair for that. I have the same thing on everything. See, right off the bat, we'll start with comments from last week. And we're done with that. Leave some comments, guys. You know, we really want to get some feedback, know what you're thinking, and let us know. And speaking of comments, let us know about next week's podcast. We're going to talk about iconic comic book covers and panels. There's some great ones out there. I'm really excited about that.
I am too. I've got so many that, I absolutely love. But I love seeing other people's because I remember you showed me the Joker and he was made up of bats.
Yeah, that's definitely one I'm mentioning.
Oh, I love that, and I would have never been up on that unless you did. So hopefully we can share some stuff that you guys haven't heard of before.
And Troy, you were saying that panels are easier for you to pick.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's covers.
Covers are easier for me to pick, but they don't make probably the same impression. That when the story comes together at that moment when there's like this boom,
Peasy, what do you think it would be easier for you to pick?
See, from like way back, the thing that sticks out of my mind is the covers. I can remember like exactly what, like Wolverine 50 with the three claw marks down.
Cover.
Yeah,
I can
love
specifically.
That issue.
Yeah,
that's one of my
But
favorite.
I don't really
books.
remember the contents as much as the cover.
Oh man.
All right, we'll save it till next week. But guys, leave us some comments and some ideas of some of your comics that you can think of, that iconic cover or that great panel. That panel you just see. And one of mine, just going to throw it there right quick, that just happened.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, exactly. TMNT and Batman, the last panel.
Third.
Tell me when it's all
Third issue.
First issue.
I got you.
The first issue, Batman looking down. There's the Batmobile and the turtles are surrounding it.
All right, next week's podcast is over. Good.
And
that was all the good stuff.
That's the baby of the group. We got tons more.
Oh, good.
Now to start, we go through a few topics right off the bat and then into the meat.
There's a lot of stuff in the news this week, though, that is tied in with a lot of the other stuff that has been happening recently. Why don't you start us off?
One of the things I want to talk about right off the bat is Dave Mirra, a BMX legend. And he committed suicide this week.
Oh, it's terrible.
And the first thing I thought of was concussions and the CTE. You hear so much about it in football. You don't hear much about it in very many other sports. And, it's got to be out there in all these sports. And you think, Dave Mirra, you see the stuff he did, and all the falls he took.
Yeah.
And you see some of those guys, they get knocked out cold on those landings and stuff when they don't land and stick it. And the older I've gotten, the more I worry about head damage and the brain damage and all the trauma. And along with that, Daniel Bryan, WWE superstar, and everybody goes, well, it's fake. He's had to retire because of concussions. I mean, he wanted to come back really bad in the WWE with their wellness program. They kept making him get more and more tests. And they found out he actually has some damage in his brain near where apparently in the brain that triggers what is it? Doggone it. Seizures. That's it.
Okay.
I was like,
epilepsy. Is that how they found it? Like all of a sudden he was having seizures?
He wasn't having seizures. They found that because of all the tests.
Oh,
they kept making him go to more and more doctors.
Right.
And finally they were like, listen, you cannot wrestle anymore. And I was just wondering you guys' thoughts on concussions and maybe tie in with some of these guys, maybe nothing with these guys, but I really worry about so many different sports. Not just football, because that's where everybody hears about it in football.
Sure.
I mean, I know in mixed martial arts. I remember back in the day when we were younger.
Yeah.
If somebody got their bell rung, we'd laugh at them because they were woozy. They got knocked out. And looking back, it's like, you know what? That's dangerous.
There was a TED Talk that I saw on YouTube, what we've learned from 100,000 brain scans. And the creator had taken and created something where they would actually have a visual representation of a brain that had come in and been scanned. And it was unnerving to see because what it looked like was this picture of, like a picture of a brain or a big gelatin, thing. And it had these definitive chasms. I mean, like somebody had tried to take an axe right to the middle of it.
Gosh.
And it was like, and he goes, boom. There's an example, and another one looked like it had been hacked on from the side with like a blade or something, and another one had like it almost looked like lightning bolt or waterways. And he said, "Here's the thing that we've seen." He said, "When we look at these scans, I can tell you exactly what their symptoms are, and I can tell you exactly what we need to do, what we've learned to do to fix them. Whereas before we had these brain scans, it was literally trying to figure out what was wrong with the guy, throwing a dart at a wall full of balloons and trying to, pick one to hit."
Wow.
And you think about the people in the past, like Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
When he had that episode and killed his family, I was like, what went through his, brain, man? What kind of things happened to him? And he's somebody, from the wrestling past that I know that my thoughts go toward concussions, brain damage from all of those falls.
Yeah, they did tests on his brain, and they said he had, I think he was like 40-something when he passed away.
Goodness.
They said he had the brain of like a 90-something-year-old.
Oh, unreal.
With all that, because his main move was jumping off the top rope with his head.
Oh, jeez.
And looking back, I was like, wow, it's crazy that so many of these professionals have these things.
Well, Troy Aikman, had all the concussion problems. And it's funny because, there's people who always, talk about, oh, well, he had a mild concussion. Let me explain something to you. There's absolutely no such thing as a mild concussion. It's like saying you're mildly pregnant.
Yeah.
All right. You either are concussed or you're not. And the damage is unreal. And we used to always think that it was better for the kids because they're, they're made of rubber.
Yeah.
And they're seeing all of the reports come in, and it's worse for kids. So, no, my kid's not playing football. Sorry.
JP? Exactly.
Listening. Yeah. I agree.
But,
Andre? I agree.
All right. So, but I mean, that's just one of those topics I really want to hit on because of Dave Mirra, and they haven't said anything about concussions or brain damage or anything, but that's just the first thing that popped into my head because I used to see him do all kinds of things and landing and like getting his bell rung, and that's just the first thing that popped into my mind.
Well, it's funny too because the first thing I heard with suicide, I'm like, man, what would make you make that decision?
Yeah.
But if you did have this kind of a brain damage situation, you're not you.
Yeah.
That's a disease and stuff. That's a terrible thing. And, man, I pray for his family. But you know what? You see the accidents these guys go through, like on the highlight films.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's as much footage of them wrecking and nearly breaking their neck as there is of them pulling off the tricks.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you figure those guys, they got to fail 100 times before they actually start nailing these things.
Can you watch, you ever heard of that show, Ridiculousness?
Yeah.
Where there's just people just wiping out and busting. Can you watch that stuff?
I watched it a couple of times. I just got to the point I just don't even want to watch it anymore.
I can't watch it though. Like every time one of those guys bites it, I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
My kid laughs at it. He goes, ah. I was like, dude, I can't watch that. That guy's really hurt.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like in a movie where it's fake, it's one thing.
That's different.
But when it's real life, I don't like that stuff anymore.
You see a kid going off like his bike over like down these steps or whatever, and he loses it, and he's jumping 20 feet, and then he lands on his face. And you're like, you'll never be the exact same again.
Yeah, I mean, you see his friends come over, he's like, hey, man, get up. And,
kicking him like...
And he is out cold. He's not moving.
He's like dead. Oh.
Okay. Like I said, I just wanted to hit that real quick. Next, this week, the Super Bowl.
What'd you think of the game?
I thought it was all right. I mean, I knew going in, it was going to be a defensive battle. Because I knew those two teams, their defense was just amazing. And I didn't realize that Carolina Panthers, they didn't bring their offensive line with them.
Not at all.
Man, poor Cam Newton, he got beat down.
You can see his frustration just more and more throughout the game.
And then, I don't know if you guys heard after the game at the press conference, he got up and left. But he answered like 10 questions. And I mean,
like one-word answers and stuff.
Well, no, I mean, one of them he actually gave. They like, so what happened? He's like, they were just better than us tonight. They outscored us. They were just better. And in the reporters, they will ask the same question. It's almost like a police interrogation. I'm going to ask the same question until you give me what I want.
Yeah.
And one thing I was kind of hearing something off to the side, and apparently how they had them set up was almost like a square. Have like one player on each corner. And it turns out like a Denver defensive guy was like around on one of the corners. You could hear him going like, yeah, we had Cam out of his game the whole time. And
so Cam could hear it?
Yeah, Cam could hear it too. So I mean, I honestly have no problem with him saying getting up and leaving. Yeah. He's a competitor. I mean, I have no problem with that.
Now, Deion Sanders was quoted, I guess just this last day, and he said, "Listen, right now you're the face of our brand, the NFL, and you need to suck it up." He said, if you're going to be that person, you have to be professional. And
that's the biggest thing I've heard a lot of people say is being professional.
Well, because if you win, you act a certain way, but then if you lose, you take your ball and go home.
Yeah, John Kruk did.
Yeah, right?
Josh didn't get that joke.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I didn't watch
John
any of the
Kruk was a
game.
professional baseball player. Okay. He had testicular cancer. He had one of his balls removed. And he used to wear a shirt that said, if you make me mad, I'm going to take my ball and go home.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I was like, that was one of the greatest shirts.
Yeah, interesting.
And also, before the game, one of the things me being a sports fan, you guys might not have appreciated this at all, but when they brought out all the old Super Bowl MVPs.
Now, I did.
I mean, I'm sitting there seeing these old guys. I'm like, I'm getting chills.
Honestly, I did
as I'm
too.
watching some of these guys.
But I was really current with football until I started martial arts. Because my first martial art training took place on Sunday afternoons.
Josh will be with us shortly after we talk about football.
Well, what's funny is back in the time when I was really into watching pro football, I could have told you every quarterback in the league. Yep. And I would have thought that was everybody's, expectation. Like, of course you can name every quarterback. That's easy.
Yeah.
Name their, fullback or the wide receiver who's, his go-to guy. And maybe not. But now I can name a handful, maybe.
Okay.
Because we used to train on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah, I mean, I can still name just most of the players now. Just because I'm still into it. I love sports.
Most of the players
baseball,
on every team?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. God. I mean, I'm not like when I was younger, I could not only name the quarterback, the wide receivers, the running backs. I was naming linemen. No one knows linemen.
Nobody.
I knew linemen. I was like, that dude is
And you can
horrible.
still do that?
No, not now.
Now, I thought you could still do it.
Now you got your main players on every team, but like that, I'm sorry, offensive linemen, I can't name you guys anymore.
Do you take and watch like all day Sunday, every Sunday?
Oh, yeah.
All day? Like, what time do you start pre-games?
Pre-game shows I don't watch anywhere near like I used to because I just feel like I'm hearing the exact same thing over and over.
Oh, 100%. They're trying to stretch $1 right there, bro.
Oh, like the Super Bowl. I was joking. I was like, about an hour before the game, I was like, well, they started the pre-game show about 3 days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, it literally felt like that, but it was actually like literally about 4 or 5 hours before the game, the pre-game show started. Like, this is just ridiculous.
I couldn't do anything that much. Like, even UFC, I like my martial arts, but I can't watch too much of it or I get tired of it.
Yeah, well, that's something that I think, part of the conversation beyond present day MMA.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of diehards that are probably feeling that a little bit.
I mean, Josh, did you watch any of it though, really much?
No, the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Nah, I let it record, and by the time I started watching like the commercials and fast forwarding through the game, it was like 4 minutes left of the game.
Yeah. I tell you what, I would
really?
say this.
That's crazy.
One of the highlights for me was the national anthem.
Yeah.
I
watched Effie Trinket.
I love Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
And I thought she was amazing.
I did too. I thought she did really good.
Welcome to the 50th annual Hunger Games.
Dude, isn't that funny? Did you see that? Yeah. I laughed when I saw it. When you got to sing at 6, but you got to host the Hunger Games at 8.
I was expecting Osei, can you see Roma, Roma, Ma?
And
I thought she did really good.
I was
though.
really impressed.
She did decent, yeah.
Decent.
Well,
Dumbed
you
it
know
down.
how like when they're a pop star, you know what they sound like when it's auto-tuned and all that, but you never know what can they do.
Yeah, Gaga can actually sing.
She
doesn't
sings.
auto-tune
If
it.
you see, she does a lot of stuff like Tony Bennett.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah, he's an old singer, but
love Tony.
dude, I mean, she does stuff with him, and
When
it's
she got
amazing.
with him, she started like wearing like regular clothes.
I mean, she got rid of the meat dress.
I know, no meat
dude,
dress
I
at the
swear.
Super Bowl.
I remember seeing that. I was like, wow.
What a nut job.
That girl wants your attention.
I mean,
she's going to get it.
See, my thing is, I was like, dude, she's kind of a nut job. I was like, man, she's got a great voice.
Oh, she's good.
Well, I never faulted her for doing all that crazy stuff because she was the most talked about celebrity in the world there for a while.
Exactly.
She's made so much ridiculous money, she can do whatever she wants now.
Yeah.
Branding. She's successful.
It's funny. You think like, you mean the one that had the meat dresses now doing the national anthem?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's okay. Hannah Montana is now got a stripper pole in all her
That's,
videos.
yes.
Everybody has
That's
evolved.
that's sad. That
or
is sad.
devolved.
Halftime
Hey,
show.
let me ask you
go
about
ahead.
the game real quick. Did you feel like at the end when Cam Newton didn't jump on the ball?
Oh my goodness!
Now let me ask you: did you think he had just thought that it was going to go another direction? Because
I thought he quit.
You thought he quit.
I did, because I was literally in my house screaming. I mean, to me, the game's pretty much over at that point anyway.
It's done.
Like, dude, get on the ball. Get on the ball. You're the quarterback. Get on the ball. And he come out later and goes, well, I mean, if I had tried to jump on it, I was too close to it, I could have hurt my knee or something. Like, no. It's a
Dude,
Super Bowl.
You're in the Super
This
Bowl.
is a Super Bowl. You sacrificed
He did say
for
that?
it. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I heard some other guys, and they're
Respect
old
lost.
players, and they're like, yeah, I can see that. And you see other people go, no, it's a Super Bowl. You dive on that ball.
Well, dude, if you're a competitor,
Yeah.
every second you're there to win.
Yeah.
If that's not you, that's okay.
I mean, I can
Be
see
a
that.
spectator.
I
We
can,
need those
I can, I would let him have a pass on that if it was like the third game of the season, the regular season.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I would still kind of expect him to go for it. But in the Super Bowl, this may be your only chance of being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, ever.
I mean, look at Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
No rings.
One Super Bowl.
And no rings.
Yeah. And so
If
that,
he could go back, he'd play it again.
Mhm.
You know?
Because they didn't do laces out.
yeah, that's right. Laces out Einhorn.
Dude. They should have had Scott Bakula
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Unnecessary
Yeah.
Roughness.
Oh, okay.
Kathy Ireland could have kicked the ball.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Ah,
There you
love
go.
it. I am the runt of the litter. You've never seen that
Oh
movie,
my
Unnecessary
God.
Roughness?
Not ringing any bells.
Fumbleia. Dude, you got to watch that. That's a
He's like
fantastic
40
movie.
years old going back to college and playing quarterback.
And you know what? To me, I look at him 40. Oh, you're young, dude. You got another 20 years, bro.
The halftime show. There was controversy about the halftime show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I'm talking about a different controversy than you guys are talking about right now.
You don't
I
know
bet
what
you're
I'm
not.
thinking.
I know what you're thinking. I know you're not thinking about Metallica right now.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Maybe I was.
Are you? Metallica is one of the hugest heavy metal acts of all time.
Yeah. Except other than Jethro Tull.
Yes. Do you know that
he
doesn't
story?
know this one either.
MTV's first metal award, Metallica.
I want
was
to say
up.
it was the Grammys.
Was it the Grammys?
It was the
yeah, it was the
Grammys.
Grammys. And they were up for it. Metallica. And of course, that's the brainchild of metal.
Uh-huh.
And they gave it to Jethro Tull, who everybody, I remember being there listening to it going, Jethro who? Is he a Clampett? Is he eating vittles? Because I had never heard his stuff.
Yeah, it's just one of the biggest things that in the Grammy history. But I was like,
man.
what in the world?
Yikes.
But they are based in San Francisco. That's where the Super Bowl is. And they put Metallica as the night before concert. They wanted to be the halftime show at the Super Bowl in their hometown.
And they said no.
They said no. They put Coldplay and not Metallica.
Let me explain something to you about that whole choice, Coldplay. How about have something as sedating as possible as your pick-me-up?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, before this game, let me give you some Valium.
Well, it all changed with Janet Jackson. They're like, we're going to be very selective. We're going to play it safe.
But here's the thing about
Yeah,
Metallica.
that's true.
If you've seen what they've done the last 5-10 years, Mariano Rivera, when he retired, who was there to play music for him when he come into the game? Metallica, live in Yankee Stadium. They had Metallica play Enter Sandman because that was his run-in
had it
music.
live?
Yeah, they were there live to play it for Mariano Rivera.
That's a moment I wish I had
He's
known
no
about.
longer. I mean, Metallica is no longer this "we're scared of them" group. They're this group that has
bunch of old
transcended
guys.
now. Yeah, and they're not. They weren't going to like have a wardrobe malfunction
Have you ever seen that?
or have another potential disaster that may or may not have happened at this Super Bowl.
It's too heavy for Grandpa
Yeah.
at home watching the game.
Oh, dude. Have you
Actually, it's perfect for Grandpa. It's not for everyone else.
ever seen that documentary, Some Kind of Monster?
Yeah.
With Metallica?
Mm-hmm.
My
Again, Josh is left again.
dude, let me tell you.
Wake me up when comics comes around.
Okay, that'll be next week.
Well, it was funny though. Dude, you made me forget what I was going to say.
Well, it was funny that something happened.
It's about somebody.
Oh, some kind of monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
love
about a monster.
I had
don't
one
know.
opinion of them before as being like this hard-edged group of rock and rollers and just no respect of rebelling against everything.
I'm a rock and roller.
And that's right, it goes to 11. Yeah. And
Wait, you got that reference?
Yeah.
All right.
All
All right.
right.
We're back on
I
track.
understood that reference.
yeah, way to go, Cap. And I saw that movie and I was like, these are a bunch of whiny prima donna rich boys who are worried about meeting with their psychiatrist or psychologist, whoever, and working through their feelings. And I lost all respect for them as the metal guys.
It went from being just a documentary about making a new album to, wait a minute, James is having a breakdown because of all of his alcohol problems.
Yeah, it was rough.
See, I mean,
man.
I'd let him have a pass on it because, like, this dude is going from being a touring basic alcoholic to trying to get off that and start almost being a family guy.
Yeah. That coupled with their going after the kids who are downloading their music in court for like $1 million. It's like, you guys have really got a different perspective than what I would have imagined.
Old Napster.
I listen to Elvis Duran, a morning show that comes on local radio, and that's one thing he always says about celebrities. Like, if you idolize somebody or you really, really like them, don't get to know them personally.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're not what you expect them to be in your head, and you're going to be let down.
Yeah, whatever you think of us, it's totally wrong.
Yeah. Dude.
Except me, I am that good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Radio face.
Radio
yes,
face.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got radio head? That's you.
That's the whole reason we're not on video. We tried, but I broke the camera.
Well, I keep trying, but I don't know. But in commercials, let's hit the commercials real quick because to me there were 2 decent commercials and that was it.
Let me just ask you this before we go on. What did you think about the halftime show with Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno? Anything good?
I
out
like
of it?
Bruno.
I like Bruno.
That
Yeah, me
was literally the whole thing I liked about it.
Yeah.
I thought he was almost the saving grace.
Yeah.
Of it.
He can move. He's almost like the next Michael. And
Dude,
I hear that over and over, and my response, there will be no more Michael.
Nah, there never will be
There-
another
It's
Michael.
Michael, and just that's it.
Yeah.
There's a very select group of people that are going to have that kind of charisma, talent, and just be able to bring it in the moment.
Like, I didn't even know he could dance. Like,
Oh,
I didn't know he could do that until last Super Bowl.
I heard like a few years back, I kept hearing Usher. That's the next Michael.
Yeah.
nah.
No, he's not. I'm sorry. There's one Michael.
Yeah, Bruno.
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
But what do you think about Beyonce? Did you hear about the?
Yeah, the Black Panther stuff.
I've never cared about Beyonce. She's,
Well, put it this way, I didn't see that. That's not what I took from it. Was like a Black Panther thing.
I didn't know anything about it until like 2 days later.
yeah, I mean, exactly.
I mean, I started hearing stuff yesterday about it. Today's Wednesday, and that was on Tuesday when I started hearing about it.
Okay.
I was like, if you say so, I totally missed it.
But you know what? And maybe there was something to it. And if that's true, that's too bad.
To be honest, I thought Beyonce with her outfit, it kind of reminded me of a tribute to Michael Jackson.
No, it reminded me of a tribute to Jenny Craig. Because that girl should.
That's wrong. And
She should
Beyonce,
not have been wearing that.
Beyonce, I did not say that. That would have been Troy Champney. His phone number is. I forgot.
Hallelujah. No, I looked at that and I was just like, no. But I don't go for the group who is offended about every single thing. I hate that.
Right.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's like, okay, so they dress like the Black Panthers, whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt me.
I mean, if it was like the Black Panther from the comic books, go.
Yeah, I did. Right? Are you from Wakanda?
Well, I mean,
Wakananda?
whatever. Didn't think.
Did I say it wrong?
No.
Oh, I was like, dadgummit, I've
Nah,
never heard
like
it pronounced.
Wakanada?
Remember in Age of Ultron?
Wakanada?
Remember in Age of Ultron? That's why Bruce said it. He was like, Wakanda?
Dude, I love it.
Well, I think there's a legend that says it like this:
Wakanada.
Waka waka waka.
Waka flocka flame.
I do a great Fozzie impression. Check this out. You had to see it. If we go video, I'll do my impression. My son loves that.
Good.
Waka waka.
All right, let's get to the commercials.
All right.
I mean, for me, there was just 2, and they're both Doritos.
Yeah, in fact, a shout out to Dennis on this because Dennis Hayes, our buddy in Roanoke, put on his Facebook feed during, I guess like the third quarter or so.
Yeah, so probably
He said-
third, maybe early fourth. Yeah,
And he said, the era of great commercials is over.
it
It's
is.
true,
It
yeah.
absolutely is.
And I was like, dude, yeah, I mean, outside of the Marvel one
Yeah.
and the Doritos,
Mhm.
Puppy Monkey Baby, little weird, dude.
Yeah.
It's like last year the theme was like they were all like really depressing. All of them were sad.
Yeah,
last
I heard a
year.
lot of
Real
people saying that. Yeah,
And like this year they were just off the wall weird commercials.
Yeah, man. I was like, what? Who paid money for this? I want to know.
That's
who
what I
made the
said
decisions.
multiple times. It's like that was worth $1 million, really.
Because it wasn't.
Yeah. How much is it? Like
4.5 million
4.5
for 30
30
seconds. Yeah.
That's how much I'm actually getting paid for this.
Boom.
I mean,
I
no,
saw it.
y'all
Did you get a
aren't.
check, Troy?
Dude, yeah, man.
That's why.
I didn't
That's,
get you.
that's,
I-
why,
what?
that's why I'm collecting. Don't worry, I'm going to dish it out. Never,
That's why you got more pops than me.
not one, but touche.
Boom.
Hey, if you made videos, you would be making the the 4.5.
Oh, I see. 4.5 cents.
You probably wouldn't. But
4.5 cents.
exactly.
All right, so yeah, like the Prius one, that was kind of cool. The sheep singing Queen, that was kind of cool. Like anytime you throw Queen in a song,
Yeah.
in a commercial,
You know
it's
what?
cool.
I'm glad you mentioned that one. I did like that one.
I'd forgotten about that one.
TJ
yeah.
Miller like insulting that little beer tap. They were like spitting back and forth.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
There was
yeah.
actually an extended version I saw before the Super Bowl. It goes on for a long time. They just keep going back and forth.
I hate to say that I didn't know that guy's name, TJ Miller.
I had no idea what his name was.
When you said that, I
It's
was
that
like,
dude
yeah.
from that thing that he did.
Yeah,
He's in Deadpool.
he's in Deadpool.
Yeah, he's the guy that makes fun of
You know, one like
Ryan Reynolds.
yeah.
Avocado face.
The only one that was like it started off inspiring. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good commercial. It was like a little kid was watching somebody else, and they were like, I can do that. And then they grew up and like went on to break some records, like climbing Mount Everest. And some other kids saw them doing it, and like the kid's like, I can do that. And it goes on and on. And the kids are like, I can do that. And then it turns out to be a daggone Pokemon commercial.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have never understood the whole Pokemon thing, but I dug that commercial.
Pokemon. My man, Mon.
I
Pokemon.
remember the super nerds. Like I'm a
Is
super
that the one
nerd,
with the
but
holes
they
in
were
him?
like,
Yeah.
Pokemon?
Even poked.
I was a super nerd, but there's like a whole nother level of nerddom at school. That I was playing
Yeah.
Pokemon, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't do it, bro.
See, again, that goes back to King of the Nerds, the TV show.
Right.
It's like, I'm a nerd, and then I watch that, I'm like, I'm really not.
No, I'm
I
not.
am not a nerd at all.
Dude, I never understood, and to this day, I still don't. The comic shop next door, the gamers.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
I can't do it.
I don't get it.
I mean, I told you, I was in there one day looking at comics, and they were talking about Magic. And they like, man, you got that card? Are you serious? You can put that card with this card. I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, that's what I sound like talking about baseball with all the stats and everything. I'm like,
But
man.
you know, you make a good point there because whenever you geek out about something
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't matter to anybody else or their life,
That's so heartbreaking too.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
You will love Captain America. Come on,
love it. You're
I mean,
a nerd, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. I like with sports. I actually say I'm a sports nerd because no, you can't be a nerd if you like sports. I'm like,
Can if you're a statistician.
exactly. To me, that's your thing.
I say that right.
Statistician. This beat is kind
Going down to Cali.
So
I
like
think it's very vital to rock around that track.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm in. Here we go.
Dude.
coolest commercial trailer, whatever for me was Jason Bourne because I had no idea
I
they were
had no
making
idea about
another
that
one.
either.
I didn't either.
I saw that and I was like, wait, no shaky cam?
Dude,
Oh.
that's true.
Oh.
And did you see the combination he put on that guy, like cross, uppercut, hook, or
Yeah.
something? I was like, I think I would take you serious if you came at me.
I actually
Matt
cut my
Damon.
I actually cut my wife off. She was saying something. I was like, wait, Jason Bourne, wait.
I rewound it because I didn't know what it was. Like, shut up. Wait a minute. Jeremy Renner, I love you, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. And I even loved your Bourne movie.
I didn't.
But when I saw Jason, I was like, okay, he's back.
Damon's back.
You didn't like that?
dude.
You didn't like anything of that?
I mean, it was watchable. It wasn't a bad movie. I didn't like it as much as Matt Damon at all.
Yeah.
It had people out in the wilderness, like doing survival stuff, so I was already in.
Oh, okay.
If it's in that kind of a situation, I'm gonna watch that movie.
So I like the whole like
They were eating grubs in dirt. It was good.
I like the whole government agent like infiltrating, blending in
Oh, yeah,
towns.
yeah.
I love that kind of stuff.
I don't know. Back in the day when Rambo was a thing, you know, I remember them
Oh,
talking.
John.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, all you could think about was these guys were our Jedi Knights in real life, and they were, you know, I remember what they said. He's been taught to win by attrition. Taught to eat things that would make a billy goat puke, and I was like, oh man,
Wow.
Yeah, from First
to
Blood.
ignore pain. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
So I always
was
gave
great.
those guys props.
Well, how many? We say there's 400 of us. You need more soldiers.
No. He goes like this. He goes, if you bring that many men, I got one piece of advice. And what's that, Troutman? Bring a good supply of body bags. I lost it. When I was a kid, I was like, whoa, he's taking them all out.
And he could have too.
No doubt.
He took over the city and was
Yeah.
like blowing people up, killing them. I was like, yeah, day.
I love that movie. First Blood, it's got to be on some top 10 list somewhere for me.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Love that movie.
See, my favorite commercial had to be the pregnant woman having the ultrasound.
That was a good one.
I laughed.
I was crazy. And the guy just sitting there eating a bag of Doritos, and then you see the baby moving along.
Dude.
And she grabs it and throws it, and there goes the kid right on out.
I laughed out loud.
I
on
was
that.
like cracking up.
But you know what? What made me laugh wasn't the baby going out. It was that guy at the end screaming. That look on his face. I rewound that thing like 3 times. I was like, that's good, dude.
Like beyond movie trailers, that was probably the only like actually funny commercial, like
Yeah.
product selling commercial.
Oh, yeah. And you noticed there was no Clydesdales either this year.
Yeah, I did
I was
notice
like,
that.
that's what I heard a lot of people talking about that too. 'Cause I was like, this is crazy. How can you not
That made
have
me mad. Actually,
no
I love
ponies,
that. Yeah.
no dog?
No puppies.
Like,
I was like,
what in the world?
dude. Well, you know what? I think it's because they didn't have enough money because they had to pay Peyton Manning to say it twice on the air. I'm gonna be drinking a lot of Budweiser.
I mean, before the game, he was selling Gatorade.
Dude, he said, "This is my last game. I got to get paid."
Yeah, and I'm sure at some point.
Him and Anthony Hopkins with TurboTax.
Did you see?
That was pretty good.
See,
Odin.
That was actually yeah. Did
Yeah.
you see after the game, the Papa John's man, he was out there with Peyton.
No, but I heard about that, and he was all like hugging up on him, like,
Yeah.
"Congratulations!" And people were like, "That's just weird,
He
dude."
says,
Wow.
say this, "At the Super, where are you going? I'm going to Papa John's."
to give me some pizza.
Dude, it's almost like Deadpool where he broke the fourth wall.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be here, Papa John. Oh, yes, I am. Yeah, but the commercials I thought were a letdown, except for the ones that we've mentioned. I liked all the ones you guys just
Yeah.
said. But I love the movie trailers, like Jason Bourne,
Bourne.
and I love the new Civil War footage. they
Yeah,
showed.
yeah,
I mean, to
yeah.
me, that was like, yeah, it's all right. Only thing I really liked about that was like, okay, you know, we got sides.
That and there was 2 cool
I love
moments.
that at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only part of that when I really liked, like, oh, okay, now we got him on both sides.
Well, there's 2 moments we haven't seen. Like Tony has a watch now that like takes over his whole arm. Like
I love that.
Yeah.
And
That
he
was
stopped the bullet.
Ah.
Like you were in a firefight right there. Like that dude tried to kill you point blank, and you stopped that.
Who was that? Winter Soldier, right?
Winter Soldier, yeah.
Oh, dude, I loved it.
And the best scene for
He
me,
stole that from Kylo Ren.
the best right. The best scene for me was like we see that hallway again that we had already seen when Iron Man opens the door, but now we see like a couple seconds before that when Captain comes down and the door opens up and they're posted up like a 2-man SWAT team. You got Captain down in the front with the shield, like a SWAT riot shield. You got Winter Soldier peeking over his right shoulder. I was like, oh.
Dude, I'm telling you, that is gonna be incredible. I'm so pumped about that movie.
Now some of the lineup doesn't really make sense to me. Like I wouldn't imagine Vision would have been on Tony Stark's side.
I thought
Yep.
that it did make sense because, well, he's my creator. You know, even though he kind of broke free, you know.
You think Jarvis
still-
is like, hey, Vision,
Yeah.
you be over here?
Yeah, well, I
Maybe
think
so.
I think it's what it is. I think he's like, no, I'm Tony.
He's got that Jarvis man.
Yeah, I think
because
that's
at the
what it
end
is.
of Age of Ultron, he was with those new
Yeah, like
recruits.
the West Coast Avengers. Is what I call them, you
The
know?
West Coast Avenger.
Did you ever read that back in the day?
Nah,
Dude,
I kind of
you didn't miss
think
anything.
I kind of think he's over there because they just need a big level person to balance out Scarlet Witch on the other side.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Which could be, you know, part of the thing that brings them together because theirs is a really neat love story.
And Black Panther, he was like strictly captain in the comic run, so to see him on Tony's side, that's kind of different too.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I can't wait to see how they play
Yeah.
this out.
And the full count, there was like 5 on.
Yeah, 5 and
Tony's
5,
side.
right?
There was
5 and
5 on 6. So I'm thinking Spider-Man's gonna fill that 6th place for Tony. I think he's gonna be on Tony's spot.
Ugh, I hope not. What are you on? Team Cap or Team Iron?
Captain all the way, dude.
What about you?
I don't really know the
No,
sides.
come on.
Just from what I
Who
saw,
would you team up with
I
if
would
they
team
were?
up with Cap. I'd always team up with
Yeah,
Cap.
did
But you know, I don't think it's really gonna have anything to do with like government registration. I think it's just all gonna be about Winter Soldier.
I think it's going to be something to do about government involvement in policy.
I think they're going to
Whether
be
they
like
do a registration
these
or not.
people that have powers that are on the bad side. We're going to take them out because even Captain says like, you know, Captain would probably be okay if they took him in and tried him for what he did and found out, you know, he wasn't guilty, he was mind controlled or whatever.
Sure.
But they're like they're coming for you and they're not trying to take you alive. So that's kind of why Captain's fighting them.
Oh, dude.
That's what I think anyway.
Anyway, back to the UFC.
Whatever. The other one that was a big letdown for me, unfortunately, was Apocalypse.
Okay. I tell you what I dug about it though. Olivia Munn.
Well, yeah, the Psylocke.
Dude.
That part right there I thought was amazing.
She looked great, too.
And everything else, I was
She's-
just like, eh.
She's a pretty woman, but but like I just don't think she can like act. Like her face never moves.
I don't know,
Did,
man.
did you
I'm
see
interested
the
in
little
seeing
thing
her.
with her and Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, that's kind of.
Oh, yes,
She's
I
out
did,
with the
yeah.
sword thing, and he just sits her with like a little foam sword, and like taps her on the head.
But,
I thought that was hilarious.
Ryan Reynolds is gonna take and be shot into the stratosphere after this.
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
You guys
gonna-
remember that movie, Mortal Kombat Annihilation? The
Yeah.
second Mortal Kombat. How bad those graphics were. and
That was
stuff.
terrible.
It's like the ending of Apocalypse is kind of looking like that.
God, don't say that.
Like the way they're out in that. I guess they're outside and that storm's ruining in the background. And they're all
I'll tell you
fighting. It's
what I
like,
find funny
looks
about
terrible.
this. You're a Marvel guy.
I'm hardcore X-Men
One of my,
too, man.
Yeah, I
I
am
was
too.
on a podcast this past week, and one of the guys is a DC guy.
Yeah.
And he thought that this trailer would look really, really good.
Oh yeah.
I thought it looked horrible.
I was super excited.
I
and
thought it looked good.
the first time I watched it, I was like, all right, but I've seen it a couple more times online, and like I was like, oh man, this really does not look good.
I'm not digging the way Apocalypse looks at
I
all.
still
Yeah.
don't like the way he looked. Like they had,
He looks like Ivan Ooze.
Yeah.
it was a little bit
Power
redeemed because they
Rangers.
showed the thing where he started growing, and that one scene where he like pinned Charles and he started
That
going.
was-
He had like solid white eyes. And I was like, all right, if they did that for the whole movie and made his eyes white the whole movie, that would kind of like distract from the look a little bit. But
Yeah, that
but
would
then you
help.
see him like again later, and he's got those regular eyes.
He looks like he should sell insurance, and
He's,
it's like,
he's
why
just
are you
like
purple.
He's Blueface Poe Dameron.
Yeah, right.
You never
Okay,
go Blueface, man.
What about the Angel? They actually saw him kind of coming
Yeah.
into action.
Yeah.
I thought that looked cool.
It's still on that. Just they're in a room in a green screen filming the entire movie. It was
That's
bad.
not you. You're not thinking that.
Like even Psylocke when she did her little front flip, I'm like, oh, she's on a wire doing a front flip. We're gonna CGI on a car splitting in half.
I thought that looked cool as can be.
Oh, I did too.
I don't think it
I was
does,
digging
man.
that.
I don't think it looks good.
But,
I think you gotta have a
CGI.
balance
and
of both of those things.
you know, like really absurdly gorgeous women.
And like the height of the trailer was Apocalypse choking Mystique. I was like, Apocalypse has the power to like annihilate all of you in a second.
With a thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
with
like
a thought.
choking one of them. That's no threat. Who
Hey,
cares?
what
about
is the
that?
collection of that story? I know. I think I've asked you guys this before. Can you guys post that in the comments? Like, where is the Apocalypse original story? Like, where he gets his wings, Warren the Angel
okay.
gets his wings and all that. Where's that original story? Can I find that? I want to read it, and I cannot find where I've got it.
Yeah, because Age of Apocalypse came way after that.
Okay, because that was after,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you can, look that up. You know, see if you guys have any.
One day there will be some kind of a search engine
I
that looks
tried, but
safe
it
up.
kept pushing me to Age of Apocalypse.
That's like the big story for him. It seems
Yeah.
to. Yeah. But he was
I don't know.
around way before that.
That's what I thought too. Anyhow, but I loved also Cyclops took off, you know, his glasses when they said go to war.
Yeah.
That graphic that looked good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, some of us can't control our powers. Like, well, don't control them. Let
This is
them go.
war. Yeah, man, let it fly. I was like,
I was still excited for the movie, but man, that last trailer just it took it down a notch for me.
let's look at it this way. Let's pretend.
I'm not very excited about that movie at all.
What, Apocalypse?
Yeah.
I'm getting more.
I mean, like I told you when we did the previews a few weeks ago, I was like, that just kind of feels like it's going to kind of blend in.
Yeah, like X-Men was number
that other
2
little
on my
group.
list. I mean, now like Deadpool's replaced that. I'm more excited to see
I mean, I
Deadpool.
put Deadpool first, Civil War
I
second,
am too.
Batman third, and I was like, then you have that other little group to me. That's what it felt like.
I tell you what, though, I'm going to go into this just like I did First Class, because before I saw it, everybody was panning it. They're saying this thing is going to be the worst thing they've ever put out.
Right.
Like the Fantastic Four.
All right.
And so I went in with those kind of expectations low, and boy, it blew me out of the water. I'm trying to keep my expectations so low for this that I'll be pleasantly entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can only go up from here.
That's it. If you do that, I'm telling you, it's something that I've learned. The more hyped I get about a movie, the more disappointed I usually am. Because it's hard to meet your expectations, man.
Anything we missed?
Nah,
Let us
we're
know.
good.
Let us know. We have comment section. Please use it.
And also, next week, we got the comic book covers and panels. If you have something that
There's
is
so
really good,
many great things
throw it
coming
out at
next
us.
week. That might last a while too.
dude, I'm going to have to do some homework to get all the numbers and issues like that
Yeah.
so I don't just throw random. There was a good Spider-Man one time.
This one time at band camp, I saw a comic. Y'all should see that one.
That was a good one.
But that's it for this week.
Thank you much for having me on.
Thank you.
And have an incredible week.
Peace out.
Hallelujah!